Shabbat Perek Yud Chet Mishnah Gimel. We're going to talk about birth, first of animals, and then we're going to move to children. It says the Mishnah, Ein miyaldin humans. Ein miyaldin et behema b'yom tov. You're not allowed. The miyaldin means to really be active, an active part in the birthing of an animal. I've never done this, but the Mishnah says it's pretty intense. Why? Ein moshchin et havalad min harechem b'yom tov. You don't pull the valad, the offspring, from the womb. The ikatircha yetera. That's too much work. So that's too much tircha on Shabbat itself. Aval misadin. Misadin basically means you can catch. Ochezet havalad shelo yipol. Here we are. Ochezet havalad shelo yipol la'aretz. You can grab the kid so that it doesn't fall. Umiyaldin et ha'isha b'Shabbat. You're allowed to obviously birth a child, a woman on Shabbat. This is what we're talking about. Behemam, Yom Tov, and certainly Shabbat. But you can do it for a woman on Shabbat, and certainly on Yom Tov as well. Okay, meaning you're allowed to engage in anything you need to childbirth. You can call for a midwife from place to place, even if it's outside of the tchum. You don't worry about tchum Shabbat. You violate the Shabbat for her. This is well known because she is considered what's called a choleh sheyesh bo sakana. Let's look at the Bartanura for a second because he gives a very interesting rundown. So the Bartanura says, "Mechalin et Shabbat, mishash yoshvei Shabbat al mashber." From when she sits on the birthing stone, that's called the mashber. Umatchil adam, and she starts bleeding. Okay, for the first 3 days, bein amrat tzvichani, bein lo amrat tzvichani mechalin. Whether she says, "I need a doctor," "I don't need a doctor," "I need something," mechalin. Mishlosha ad shiva, from 3 days to 7, amrat tzvichani mechalin. Lo amrat tzvichani en mechalin. You don't do it unless she says, "I need help." Mishiva ad shloshim, from 7 days to 30 days, afilu amrat tzvichani, even if she says, "I need you to boil up hot water," or whatever, en mechalin. You don't violate the Shabbat. Unless, of course, this obviously means unless a doctor comes along and says her life is in danger. But you do it through a non-Jew. You do amiral nachri. Why? This is halachic terminology. We learn different cholim. There's cholah sheyesh bo sakana. We're mechal Shabbat. Cholah she'ein bo sakana. We were violating dinei derabanan. Okay? V'davar she'ein bo sakana osin tzracha v'yedei nachri. And so therefore, a din derabanan is to ask a nachri. We said amiral nachri is asking a derabanan. Obviously, I'd like to stress that if you thought that her life was in danger, even if she didn't say anything, you would violate the Shabbat. V'koshrin et tabor, you tie the umbilical cord. Tabor means the umbilical cord means the tabor is the belly button, I think. Okay? Why? This is my favorite. It's umbilical cord. V'im lo yikshiruhu v'yichruchu, if you don't tie it and wrap it up, yitu me'av, his guts will fall out. So I just did a little bit of Google research. What happens if it's not cut? So Google says that it will naturally seal off after about an hour. So I think the Mishnah felt that it was dangerous. But nowadays we realize that it isn't dangerous. Nonetheless, I guess you'd ask your local gynecologist or obstetrician whether it's halachically necessary to clamp the umbilical cord after childbirth on Shabbat. Rabbi Yossi says, you can even cut the umbilical cord, not just tie it. And all the needs of Mila, everything that's necessary in order to perform circumcision on Shabbat, when Mila is dochesh Shabbat, when we do a Mila on Shabbat, because Mila is dochesh Shabbat, we're going to learn all of these things. 1 second. We're going to learn next parak what are tzarech Mila, what are considered necessary for Mila, or what's not. We'll stop here. As always, if you have comments or questions, email me. We'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman.